Hi there, this is Sam with Second Tier Sound. Really nice to see you here. So, planning your music might seem like the total opposite of being creative, right? Well, you need to be creative and productive in order to get anything done. But have you thought about what that difference is? And do you have a work structure? Do you plan your music? I wanted to show you a clip from my recently launched course, Compose Yourself, where I go into the details why you really should plan out your music. Welcome to the planning module. Let's talk about why this is so important. Hopefully after this video and the planning exercise, you will also realize why you must do this if you haven't done it already, or how you can even improve it. If you're anything like me or most people, you probably worry a lot about the past, like, oh, I was such a loser, why did I do that? Or the future, I should be a better father, better mother, better person, better composer, I should write more music, you should all over yourself. Too much worrying and too much reminiscing on the past, it can be almost like an excuse. Like if you're afraid of actually taking the step of working a little bit better, no, I'm not so good anyway, and I've always been a loser, and what if this happens if I do this, right? And we're going to talk a little bit more how you combat that. But planning is a great way to do this. I know also some people that are trying to get rid of worrying entirely, and I think this is unhealthy and not possible. You know, they start to say things, well, the past is the past, and the future has not been made, and the past does not equal the future. I mean, these are good ideas, but it becomes another worry, another pressure on you that is not healthy. Like some people say, I'm going to become just in the now. I'm here in the now and nothing else. I never have a thought about the future. I never worry. I never think about the past. Am I? Yes, I'm in the now. Yes, I'm in the now. I'm sure. Yeah, no, I had a thought. No, I'm in the now. Yes, absolutely. I cannot think about it because I cannot worry about the future. You know, it becomes a different pressure about being this good person. And even though I'm making a little bit fun of that because it is a good sentiment to be in the now, I understand where it comes from. But we humans tend to always, mess things up. And one thing I can prove that to you is that you are not capable of doing anything but the now. Now, let's say if you worry about the future and then you say, well, I worry about the future, I'm not in the now. Well, I'm going to ask you then, when are you worrying about the future? Now. If you worry about the past, when are you worrying about the past? Right now. It's impossible to not be in the now. You just don't pressure yourself about it. You're always in the now, and now, and now, and now. And the thought I have about the future is now. Put less pressure on you. What you need to do is to have a little bit more organized life so you prioritize what matters to you. We are having thoughts and worries because we're not doing what we really love and what matters to us. We come up with all kinds of ideas why we don't do that. Well, that's because I'm a bad person, and I've always been a person. In the past, I was always this bad person. And see, that's why I'm not doing it. We're trying to rationalize why we're not doing what really matters to us. And there can be all kinds of reasons for not doing what we love. But by having a good plan, we're actually crushing that a little bit. I wanted to mention one more thing that a lot of people do then. They do to-do lists, and you see in front of you everything that you worry about, and it gets a little bit easier, a little clearer. Okay, well, it wasn't that much. But there are two main problems with to-do lists. We tend to project something that we are not on our to-do lists. I'm going to be this fantastic person. I'm going to be this great author. I'm going to do this and this and this and this. So we project the ideas that we think we should be, but we're not there and we actually don't want to do it. Our self-image doesn't really reflect our inner thoughts. And then the other one is that our tasks are too difficult, too big, not graspable. Instead of putting several small steps, having a strategy of what you need to do in order to go to next step, to next step, to next step, to next step, we actually put out, become an author. Okay. It's too big. You can't grasp that. You might not say become an author, but I'm pretty sure you have done that. You've put out tasks that are not possible and you won't do them because they're too big instead of dividing them up to smaller steps. This to-do list just becomes another big pressure. Instead of just having it in your mind, you now see it on a piece of paper every day staring at you. You should be a better person, that list says. And you're like, oh, screw that list, And so you never end up doing it anyway. So let's take a look at this picture here of importance. I'm sure you've seen this before. It's not something I invented, but I just wanted to show you a little bit one way to organize your priorities. For example, here on the left upper quadrant, we have important and urgent. On the lower left quadrant, we have not important but urgent. And the upper right quadrant, important but not urgent. And the lower right quadrant, not important and not urgent. So let me briefly tell you what this means. Well, most of us hang out on the left side all the time, on the urgent side. So that means that maybe you're in the not important. That could be like paying the bills. Like, I really have to pay the bill now or else. But it's not something that matters to you in your life. It's not important to you. You just have to get it done, right? And then we have the important and urgent. That could be like you doing something you love, maybe composing or creating music in some way. But it has to be done today because I have to send it in tomorrow or else. And then we have on the right side, important but not urgent. And that could be, for example, writing music daily, but you don't have to hand it in immediately. But it's something you really love and it's important to work on so that it gets you somewhere eventually. So you don't have to deal with all the urgents so much. And then we have not important and not urgent. And this one can be tricky to interpret. But I would actually say you probably don't want to be there at all. Somebody can say, well, sometimes it's important, mark the word, it's important to just do nothing. Yeah, but what you're really talking about is important, not urgent. If you just hang out with friends, doing nothing, watching a movie, that is important too. We need to plan those things in our lives. I would say not important, not urgent is completely waste of time. And I'm sure you've done that sometimes. I have. But we also have to be nice to ourselves to say, well, I also need to not do something. It's important to me. So by finding your priorities a little bit, by planning out your life, you're eventually going to hang out more in the important but not urgent side. So you don't have constant stress of the urgency of things. I talked to a friend the other day about feeling like all I do is whack-a-mole. Something comes up and I hit it, boom. Something else comes up and I hit it, boom. And I solve that and I solve that and I solve that. And there's this wish for checking out all these boxes, all these lists and hoping for one day I'm finished, right? One day I'm done. And that's the truth. You're never going to be done. Well, you're going to die someday and then you're going to be done. But until then, there's never a finish. Take things as they come and say, well, that's part of life. That's what I do. Worry is part of life. Things coming up urgently is part of life. But I also have some control by planning out my things so I'm not constantly living in the urgent side. You're going to declutter your brain. You're going to get clear on your priorities. What do I actually want to do and what should I do in what order? It also stops the imposter syndrome really well. I have myself problem with the imposter syndrome. Meaning basically I feel like I'm not good enough, I'm really just a fakey and someday somebody's going to find out what I'm doing here. That's kind of the imposter syndrome. A lot of people have that. It really helps the imposter syndrome by planning out your time because you see your structure, you see what you're doing, you get more confident. Hey, I'm actually spending time here. I know what I'm doing. I have experience. I'm actually doing this. It also appreciates time. And what do I mean with that? Well, if you plan out the week well, you're going to see that actually this is all the time I have for my passion. And you're going to say, well, if I only have those hours or those minutes, whatever it is, then I'm going to do everything I can to get the most out of that time. You're not going to waste it. You're going to focus hard. And if you have an hour, I'm going to do everything I can to get everything done and enjoy that hour rather than, I can. You see the attitude? So planning makes you appreciate time. And in a way, you're actually going to gain time. You're going to be more focused and do better, and you're going to get more time. You're also going to carve out and commit. You're actually telling yourself that this matters to me. I'm not just doing it when I feel like it, when I have an extra time over. No, I'm saying this matters. Super important. I'm going to put this time here. I'm going to commit to it, and you're going to feel really good. Wow, that was my time. I did that. Yeah. You're going to also appreciate what you've done. Because when you work the week and you see in your planner then all the stuff you've done, hey, I actually composed all that. I did that time and I did Monday. I did all the dates, for example. It's going to feel good. I'm actually doing this. Wow. And it's going to inspire you to do it more. And then also, quite important, especially if you're a professional, you're going to get much more appreciation for what you do in terms of how much, so that you know how you can value yourself. If you know then, by doing this, you can see in a week, I actually spend this much time, I have this much time, and I'm able to create this much in this time. It's much easier to then say, well, this is what I charge an hour. You're not going to undervalue what you do. Something I see a lot with beginners out there when they're starting to charge for their work is that they undervalue themselves incredibly. And you can say, well, that's because they're not that good. Well, sometimes that's true, but not always. Because this is work, and if we always charge too low, then the business eventually are going to go to those people that are good enough that don't charge. and the whole business breaks down because nobody's charging correctly for their work. So you need that insight by planning and see how much time do I spend on this, and then I charge the amount of hour pay for all those hours I have worked, and you know how long it will take you as well. So you know this is going to take me a month or two or more to create this project, and you can be honest and firm directly. Hey, I will be able to do this in this time, and this is what I'm going to charge. Boom. And if you have that security, you're going to get more of those deals. And if people don't want to pay for that, then they're not a good business for you and you're not wasting your time. So let's get going with the whole planning. I'm going to show you exactly how I do this, and so you can do it yourself as well. Hope you enjoyed this video and hopefully you gained some insight. Perhaps let me know in the comments if you have any similar system to this, if you do anything else, if this is completely new to you, or if you think this is a complete waste of time. I don't know. Anyway, if you are interested in this stuff, in my course, Compose Yourself, I go into detail how you do this planning, but I also talk about how to actually work, how to structure your compositions correctly so you don't waste any time. And we also go into a bunch of different things on how you can structure your whole life, your desk, your sleep, your negative beliefs and health. And we also have a very detailed template workshop, so you really have everything prepared. You never have to bother about that again. And you will really learn eventually the difference between creativity and productivity and why you need both. This will actually enhance your creativity. So if that sounds interesting to you, then please check out the 2 links below. I know, 2 links. Why? Because I have 2 platforms. But no matter which one you choose, you get the same amount of material, same course, exact same thing, same price, just 2 different platforms. Unfortunately, you won't get access to both of them by buying one of them, unless you buy both, which I wouldn't recommend if you really want to support me, I guess. Anyway, until next time, I hope you create a lot of good music and you have a great summer. Take care.